Well, October is World Hunger Action Month, and sharpened focus falls on the millions of malnourished on the globe. In South Africa, more than half of our population is still food insecure, either at risk of hunger or already experiencing. Our latest stats show that 3.2 million children in SA go to school hungry every day, and this food insecurity at household level exists despite the overall food security of South Africa as a country. Well, for more, we're joined on the desk by Saira. She's the CEO of Rise Against Hunger Africa, an organization that coordinates the distribution of food and other life-saving aid worldwide. It also helps to broaden our understanding and the problems and solutions that can help end hunger. Good afternoon, Sarah, and it's a pleasure having you on the desk this afternoon.
Good afternoon, Kirshni, and thank you so much for having me.
You're welcome. Sarah, in a country like ours, we should not have people dying of hunger or not sure where their next meal is coming from, yet that's exactly what's happening. Why is it?
Well, you know, worldwide we shouldn't have anybody hungry because it's a wide-known fact that we produce more than we consume. Yet we have poverty pockets around the world, even in first world countries, where people are going hungry. And it is inequities in your station in life. But in South Africa, it's actually embarrassing to realize that we have 3.1 million children going to bed chronically hungry every day. So for this reason, we as Rise Against Hunger Africa are focused on the children, predominantly those in early childhood development facilities. But even more alarming is that university students are also facing this crisis.
Yes, you've got some staggering stats out of universities in the country. Do you want to share those with us?
Yes, we were approached about 18 months ago by UJ and Wits University saying to us, can we partner with you because we need help with university students? And I was quite surprised because, you know, we all have this perception that once you're in university, you actually have the means, so you shouldn't be hungry. But that's a far cry from the reality. A lot of kids are sponsored for the university studies. A lot of times their books and their tuition is taken care of, sometimes even accommodation. But nobody really pays attention to actually whether this child is hungry or not. And a lot of them are. A lot of them come from rural areas, so they're really reliant on the goodwill of whoever it can be. And 9 out of 10 times it falls on the university food banks. So we asked them to do some surveys for us because we wanted to actually understand how much it is. And what we found was that they can attribute 40% of failures to hunger. Even more startling was a month ago we were approached by the University of Free State to support them and UNISA. And we were told a staggering 70% of failure can be attributed to hunger. Now that is not something we can live with. Here we are as a country throwing all this money at tertiary education, but kids are still failing. So we're not really addressing what the problem is, and the problem is hunger.
And what are some of the sustainable solutions we should be looking at at this point?
Yeah, there is a lot. For me, what the problem is at the moment is that irrespective of sustainability, we've got children and we've got students that are hungry. What do we do as an interim measure? So as an interim measure, we need to make sure that these kids are fed, and that's what we do. But we also realize that it's incredibly important not to just be a handout, that there needs to be some sustainability to what we do. So we look, because we're dealing with kids, we can't expect a 5-year-old to be sustainable in 3 years. But certainly that facility, the ECD facility, can become sustainable. And by that we mean to develop to a standard where they are then accredited, linked to government, and then they can function. And with the university kids, the sustainability for me is when that kid graduates rather than failing.
I want you very quickly to speak to us about your vision, an Africa without hunger, and then your mantra is transformation through education. Tell us about your hunger eradication program and how this relates to those critical 1,000 days of a child's life.
Well, as we know, the 1,000 days of a child's life starts from the time a child is conceived. So mothers, pregnant mothers, need to be eating healthy in order to give birth to healthy children. I'm afraid to say this doesn't really happen in most countries because, you know, you think a woman is fine, she's pregnant, okay, she'll eat, but she's not eating healthily. Those are critical because these are the developmental years of a child. Now, if you miss out, research has shown us that if you miss out on these developmental years of a child,
become irreversible.
it's irreversible. This is when you start getting stunting. This is when you start getting a person with a limited acumen rather than one who has had the opportunity to develop more fully, which is why the first 1,000 days of a child's life is critical. We miss out on the pregnant women at this stage in South Africa as Rise Against Hunger, but we are focusing on the 0 to 5 year age group, and I think that is also critical, because what may be missed out in pregnancy we can then rectify when the child is born.
Sarah, very quickly, how do members of the public get involved?
You get involved very simply. We need volunteering. We need corporates to host these meal packing events, which are very fun. And all the information is on our website. It's on www.rahafrica.org. So it's www.rahafrica.org.
Thank you, Sarah. We'll have to leave it there. It's a very pertinent topic, and I do wish we'd had more time to discuss further. This is Sarah Khan, the CEO of Rise Against Hunger Africa, joining us on the desk this afternoon.